To my spooky friends who love Halloween very much, let's do courage. The cowardly dog. Glasses on. Let's go. First off, we are going to start with his eyes. We're going to outline courage. All right, so if you're going to do this, or if you're going to draw out any character, I recommend that you pull up a picture and then just copy out what you are seeing. So the first thing I did was to outline his eye area, outline his body and his face. So every part of of courage that is going to be purple, we're going to do all of that. And to be honest, drawing this out was really fun to do. It was, how many of you watched Courage the Cowardly Dog? I watched it like almost all through my childhood, not my childhood, my growing up. But yeah, I watched Courage a lot and I found him quite annoying. But at the same time, I always, Courage was always right. Like, every time he comes out and says there's a monster, but he doesn't always know how to say there's a monster coming. I feel like Courage the Cowardly Dog cartoon is one of those shows that it just has endless, like endless monster attacks, always very creepy. I mean, they were living out in a town of nowhere. I can't even remember. But anyways, we're drawing out courage. So I'm just outlining the rest of his body. I left a space for his mouth. And yeah, so this tutorial should be very fun to do. I really tried to keep to, like drawing out everything in one particular order. Usually when I do character nail art, it's hard for me to do all of, like, to focus on one character and then move to the next one. Maybe majorly because I use just one brush and I have to clean in between, every time I have to change a color. So what I normally do is, if I'm using purple for instance, and there's any part of a design of the nail art apart from maybe the one I'm working on that needs purple, I do the other side too. So anyways, I finished outlining his body. We're just going to fill in the spaces I left for his eyes. And for my liner brush, honestly, this one I've been using for a very long time. I got from AliExpress and it was a really, really cheap brush, like really, really cheap. And so far I've gotten really used to like using this brush, because I do have a set of new ones that I'm not able to use. So yeah, so we're just going to fill out his eyes, fill out his eye area, and then we'll move to the next part. I really don't know how to explain when it comes to doing nail art. All I recommend is pull up a picture, work in little bits, and then when it comes to colors, if there's any color that you don't have, just mix it out. Like Courage's teeth is what I did. So also, you guys can see I left a space for his teeth, which I am now filling in. And then I also did leave the space for where his gum is going to be, because one thing I think I've gathered from doing character art, from just a short time that I've been practicing, is to not overlap polish on polish except where necessary. So you see, now I could have just painted a whole purple. I could have outlined Courage's entire body in purple and then start filling in on the teeth, but it doesn't look good. It look much better when the polish itself are like independent and then they all just come together. So I left a space for his gum, which I will fill in with some reddish pinkish polish. And now I'm just drawing a gooey creepy monster beside Courage, because in Courage the Cowardly Dog, he's literally always getting attacked by monsters. Something is always happening, and it's always some creepy unimaginary monster, like something something creepy, too creepy. All right, so now you can see I'm coming in now with the pinkish orangey reddish color just to fill in his gum. You can use any color that you like. When I say any color that is really close to it. You might not have the exact shades. And then I also left spaces for where I would outline his teeth. All right, so next I'm just doing his brows. I'm just doing out his brows, and I think painting out Courage's body wasn't hard at all. The hardest part was doing his hands. I'm telling you, the hardest part was doing his hands. And working on this press-on stand didn't make it exactly easy, because I had to like keep turning the press-on stands around, because maybe one of the nails are blocking my hand motions. Just wasn't easy, right? So right now we're just outlining his eyes as well. We want to make Courage as realistic as possible. When I say realistic, just as similar to the pictures and the drawings as possible. And now I'm just giving him some eye baggies, and I'm outlining his teeth as well with really slim strokes, really slim strokes. And you guys can see when I say that I use the same brush. I'm literally so used to this brush, I can't help it. And I have new ones, but I just can't use them. They are not, they don't just give the strokes that I want. All right, so now we're just doing his ears, and I'm using a much I'm using like brown. I mixed it out, like a darkish brownish kind of color. All right, so now we're just doing his ears, which we would later outline with black to give the design a bit more depth. And you can see now that I had to pull out that nail that nail tip that was blocking my view. And now we're just going to do his nose. Okay, so I had to stop talking for a second because my puppy is crying in the background. Apparently my son just left for school and she's already missing him. She does that almost all the time. Okay, so back to Courage. We're just filling out the eyes for this gooey monster. We have to make him look as creepy as possible. And this gooey monster I just made up in my head. Like there's no painting for it, there's no picture like that I'm copying from. I just made out something because I mean it's Courage the Cowardly Dog. Anything could be attacking Courage and he'd still be scared. My brush could be attacking Courage and he'd be scared. You know, you guys, the very first time I watched Courage as a child, I first thought, wait, why is his name Courage? I just didn't understand the play on words. Then, like as a child, I did not understand. So I first thought, why is his name Courage? But he's always afraid. And then it was eventually I figured, oh my god, it's supposed to be a play on words. Courage is really a scary dog. He's a scary, scary dog. Alright, so I don't know if you guys remember this cattish, foxy character, very wicked and very mischievous in Courage the Cowardly Dog. So I thought to draw him out, except that I didn't want to make him really orange because he's usually very orange. Not very orange, but he's more of like an orangey tone. So I did not want to make him orange. I wanted to make him brown, and then I'll outline him with orange, just something to blend in. And yeah, so we're just doing his face, and then I'll fill in the features of his face, and then I'll also do maybe a gooey eye. No, not a gooey eye. I like to call it, you know, when sometimes when they say you're seeing stars, your eyes are seeing stars, that kind of thing. Yeah, so most of all these nail arts, you can use your dotting tool just like I'm using to do them. You don't have to use your brush. There's many things to use to do nail arts that would make the work much easier and faster for you, like my dotting tool. All right, so you guys can see that I have taken a pause on Courage, and that's because I feel like I've filled him up, or I've, you know, like drawn his character to the point where I need to start doing other characters so that I can actually see what I'm designing. Remember I said to you guys in the beginning that for me it's usually hard to just start drawing a character from the beginning to the end, especially when I'm doing a set, and that's because I'm also thinking of the other things I have to do, or like the other design placements as well. So hence I stopped doing Courage, or I've just drawn him up to the point where I know what else to do, and I can focus on doing the other characters. So now you can see I'm just mixing out some colors to outline this orange fox's face. I've forgotten what he's called. I have to look him up to refresh in my memory. As a matter of fact, I think what I have to do is watch an episode with my son, just share some of my childhood memories with him and see what used to really make me laugh when I was a child. So I'm just outlining his the rest of his body, gave him a little orange stripes just for a little bit of details. It's not compulsory that the characters have to look exactly the way they are supposed to look. And now we're just drawing these googly eyes, but they are not googly eyes. I'll call them like hallucinating eyes instead. You know when they say, oh, your eyes are seeing stars, you see? Yeah. And then we're just going to do some blood drops as well. Yeah, just some blood drops to make it look more creepy. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to have to stop talking and let you guys enjoy the rest of the video, because I've done the nail art to the point where I feel you guys can literally just watch the rest of what I'm doing and just flow with it. So if you have any questions about not how to do, because I'm not very perfect with doing nail art. I've done so much to the point where I feel I should share with you guys, which is why I'm putting out this tutorial. But if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Alrighty, so we've reached the point where we have to outline Courage and actually make him look like Courage. So I'm literally just outlining every aspect of him that needs to be outlined. I'm gonna do his mouth area, his eyes. I even outline his eyes. I'm going to do his ears as well. Every part that needs to be outlined, just to make sure that Courage looks like Courage. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that with the slimmest and carefulest, if there's a word like that, of strokes. All right, so one tip is to make sure you cure in between each layer. So just in case you have to wipe or clean, you don't wipe off the previous design that you've drawn out. All right, so I'm going to just say right now, if this is your first time on my channel, welcome, and you've watched up to this point, thank you very, very much. Don't forget to subscribe. I do drop out tutorials. I post more shorts these days, but I do drop out new tutorials. Requests are welcome. I do have a few videos on subscriber requests, so you can definitely add yours to it. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'd see you in my next one, but we're not done with this one yet. Okay, so we're just filling back up on Courage. He does have like a little spot at his back, so I'm just filling that up. And then for his eyes, I'm just going to, or for his pupils, not his eyes now. For his pupils, I'm just going to use a dotting tool to just make 2 dots because his pupils are like really tiny. I guess he's obviously always scared. So we're just going to do 2 dots with the dotting tool for his pupils. Also for his hands, I did them off camera because they were so hard to do. I used the dotting tool to do them, by the way. The hands weren't hard to do. Outlining the hands were hard to do because they're so tiny, right? It's so easy for my brush to just go in between each corner. So I kept wiping and wiping, and I eventually did it. I think I did it perfectly off camera, or maybe I left it with this one. I don't know, but his hands just took me the most, like I spent the most time doing his hands, but they came out looking really good. And now I'm just adding some, some little effects on the blood just to give it a little cartoony kind of look, right? And that's it, you guys. I cured everything in the lamp, applied top coat, and the design will be done in a bit. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. You wait to see the final results. It is so cute.